Hello, and welcome to Effective Performance Management Goal Setting. This video will discuss why setting goals is such a crucial part of performance management and how to set effective goals. Let's pause for a moment to reflect on what is the purpose of a goal. If you had to describe the purpose of a goal for someone, what would you say? How would you describe that? The definition of a goal is to get the right work done effectively. The Science on Performance Management states, people with goals perform better than those without goals. Goals provide clarity around the work that needs to be accomplished. Bigger goals deliver bigger results. People are more motivated by challenging goals and put more effort into achieving them. Fewer goals deliver higher performance. People typically don't have more than 3 truly meaningful things to get done each year. Identifying those few things provides focus and direction. It does not mean there are no other priorities. It just focuses effort on those goals that have the most impact. Well-designed goals are powerful in motivating, focusing effort on the few important things and improving performance. Clear and relevant goals set an agenda for the work the employee needs to accomplish to contribute to the team, and they are foundation for effective coaching and feedback, as well as for performance evaluations. So, how do you set goals? First, clarify your broader unit or college priorities. Let's zoom out for a minute to see how goals at different levels of the university operate together. At the very core, the university's mission of research, teaching, and outreach translates into unit or college priorities and goals that set strategy and direction. Those, in turn, inform departments, teams, and individual goals to describe what they need to accomplish to support the college and unit priorities and the university's mission. The process in which you align goals may be more or less formal, from strategically cascading goals down from senior leaders, or they may generally describe your purpose or how your team or your department's work contributes to the university's mission, or they may be somewhere in between. In any case, making the connection between the individual goals and bigger priorities will allow you to ensure there's focus on the most important work, easily communicate the impact of the work, and describe how individual goals contribute to the broader priorities and goals, which would make the individual goals truly meaningful to employees. Second, consider the employee role and skills. What skills are needed for the role now? How about in the future? What's the most challenging part of their job now? How can they develop stronger skills in that area? What are their career aspirations, interests, motivation? Also, what's their level of experience mastery? Are they new to the role, or do they know their role well? Considering these questions, or better yet, discussing them with the employee, is important. This will give you good ideas about creating meaningful and motivating experiences for them while also getting the important work done. Now that you've gathered some context, let's get back to the main topic of this video, setting meaningful individual goals. Effective goals describe both the results, or what needs to be accomplished, and the behaviors, or how these results are accomplished. In other words, ask, what do you want to accomplish next year? And what skills will you want them to engage in to succeed? For example, complete the Student Services Process Improvement Project by the end of October. That would describe the what and effectively looks beyond the surface to identify underlying issues. That would be the how, or one of the behaviors that would help achieve the result. The what of the goal should clearly describe the big, meaningful contributions that challenge the employee. One common mistake is to use a day-to-day task list or job description as goals. If you see 10 or more goals on someone's list, this might be the case. If your individual goals start resembling the task list or job description, pause to differentiate between the tasks and the goals. Tasks are activities that keep the team operational. They're usually routine, and they might need to be completed frequently, but they can often be done over the course of a day or two. Effective goals require real time and effort. They relate to work that takes longer to accomplish and, when done, has a larger, more meaningful impact. To distinguish tasks versus goals, consider, are the tasks trying to achieve one common result? Are there other tasks that are trying to achieve the same result? For example, writing a newsletter, designing a slide deck, publishing a website, and sending emails all can be grouped into one goal of designing and implementing a communication strategy. By combining tasks into a broader goal, you're building flexibility into this goal. In our example, any of the tasks of writing a newsletter, designing a slide deck, or emails can become irrelevant, rendering the goal obsolete, while the goal of designing and implementing communication strategy has more flexibility built into it. Another question to consider is the goal challenging enough? Goals should describe a few larger contributions that push you outside your comfort zone and take time to accomplish. Back to our example, writing an email probably won't do that, but designing and implementing a communication strategy can. This higher level goal has a better chance of being challenging, putting one out of their comfort zone. When faced with tasks that are not as project based but need to be completed on a regular basis, think about setting the goal around efficiencies or expansion. Can things be accomplished faster? Resources saved? Can the process be scaled up, improved? Can more variety or complexity be built in? Limit the goals to no more than 3. While there are a lot of important things to get done, no one has more than a few truly meaningful things to do. Once the what of the goal has been determined, it's important to also describe the how. There are a lot of different ways to get the same things done. For the goal to be effective, it's key to describe the way in which one should behave to accomplish the goals. Here are some example behaviors. Listen respectfully and openly to others regardless of level, position, or background. Ask questions to clarify others' points of view. Facilitate open discussion to ensure that everyone's viewpoint is heard. Behaviors are often grouped into behavioral competencies for simplicity. Behavioral competencies are observable skills, knowledge, and abilities needed for success in a particular role. Again, they describe expectations for how results are achieved broadly and universally, not limited to a particular job type. Different colleges and units may have different behavioral competency models. If you don't currently have one, or if you're curious to learn more, go to z.umn.edu/competencies to learn more about the competency model developed at the University of Minnesota to support talent development discussions. Now that you've looked at broader unit or college priorities, employee roles and skills, and drafted a few goals, which describe the what and the how, it's time to get some input to discuss and finalize the goals. Goal setting is a two-way street, and employees will be more likely to find the goals meaningful and motivating if this is a collaborative exercise. Set up a meeting with the employee to communicate the broad priorities, their motivation and development needs, and how the goals you've drafted help address both. Let's look at a few more examples of goals. The goal title reads, Student Mentoring to Enhance Student Experience. Here's the goal itself. Increase the leadership skills and interests of students through actively and effectively mentoring college students during the fall 2020 semester. Move from waiting for students to come to you to ask for mentoring and guidance to proactively identifying opportunities to offer mentoring and guidance to students and then acting on those opportunities. Notice that it lists the what, which is mentoring college students, and the behavior or the how, move from waiting for students to come to you to ask for mentoring and guidance to proactively identifying opportunities to offer mentoring and guidance to students and then acting on those opportunities. And the impact, which is increasing the leadership skills and interests of students. Here's another example of a goal that's focused around efficiencies. Goal title, Improve process to reduce waste. Goal, implement a new process to reduce inventory or waste by 10% to improve operational efficiencies. Move from accommodating multiple requests on an ad hoc basis to designing and implementing a workflow that would help meet most of the requests in a consistent manner. Again, it has the what, implement a new process to reduce inventory or waste by 10%. The how, move from accommodating multiple requests on an ad hoc basis to designing and implementing a workflow that would help meet most of the requests in a consistent manner. And the impact, improve operational efficiencies and meet client needs in a timely manner. Finally, after the goal is created, it's helpful to pause to do a quick check to ensure it's designed to be effective. Reflect on a few simple questions. Are the goals limited in number? There should be no more than 3 goals. Are they specific, important, and measurable? In other words, if the goal is achieved, will it have meaningful impact on the work this year? Is the outcome of the goal observable? And is it clear how the goal will be achieved? Writing good goals is no easy task. It just takes practice. The final step in the goal discussion is to determine your strategy for regular check-ins. Goals set the agenda for the conversations throughout the year and provide foundation for meaningful feedback and coaching. Conducting ongoing check-in conversations provide the time and opportunity to discuss progress, provide and gather feedback, and update goals as needed. They keep the goals active and current and position the formal year-end conversation and review for success. To summarize, goal setting is a foundational step in effective performance management. We've reviewed a goal setting framework of connecting goals to broader priorities, considering employee role and skills, identifying the most important expectations in a way that includes results, behaviors, and impact, discussing and inviting input to finalize goals, and setting regular check-in conversations to review progress and update those goals. Setting good goals and having meaningful conversations is not only a powerful way to drive performance, but a great way to turn the annual performance evaluation into a simple summary of conversations and work that were happening throughout the year. Thanks for watching.